Hey everyone, ErikOnPaper here, and I'm Erik. Well, as I said, I'd be doing a self-portrait and talking about Alistair Smythe, so here it is. But before I get started, I just wanted to say rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. You have and always will be a hero to many people. So the first thing I had to do was pick a photograph, and I chose one of my headshots taken by the great photographer John Ullman. And if you're an actor in the Pacific Northwest or live in the Seattle area and want a portrait done or headshot photography, go to him. He has great rates. He is not paying me at all to plug this. I had a great experience working with him. So I was first hired to play Alistair Smythe before I was the director of Spider-Man 4, and I had sent Bryn and the team by way of an audition, me performing a monologue by Chekhov from the Cherry Orchard, and they liked it, which I'm happy to say, and they cast me as Alistair Smythe, and I had just finished playing a very smug character in the play that called The Heidi Chronicles, Scoop Rosenbaum, and then I was cast as Smythe, so looking at the script and knowing the character, of course, from the comics and animated series, I just wondered, okay, I know I can be a bit arrogant, but do I have to be cast as a smug SOB in every role? But I was looking forward to it, and I got the script, and one of the things that I am really geeking out about is the sheer number of characters Smythe interacts with. Now, he's not the main villain of the piece, but he is incredibly important to the plot. Uh, Whereas Adrian Toomes, the Vulture in Spider Man 4, is a bit idealistic, uh, certainly going into science for the right reasons. Smythe is so unapologetically evil, in it for the money, profit, etc. And he looks down on virtually everyone. And in my opinion, I think he looks down on the Kingpin as well. Except, of course, Kingpin could have him killed, but it doesn't mean that Smythe still isn't more smug than he is. But yeah, Smythe gets to share scenes with Spider Man, with the Kingpin. I spent most of my time with the Kingpin, mainly talking villain stuff, you know. And then I get to spend a few scenes with the Vulture and Adrian Toomes, you know, just being a real ass to him. So that's going to be fun. And a few scenes with the Black Cat. And I do have a scene or so with the Lizard. So those are going to be just the highlights for me to perform in. And when I first got the script, not knowing I'd be directing it, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And it, I don't treat this like a fan film. To me, this is just as real as any other Spider-Man movie. So I am very excited to be working on it. In particular, directing yourself as an actor can be very challenging because if you really care about the product like I do, you'll want to use a million takes just to get it right. And knowing your performance is never really good enough. But I find, and this applies to all artistic mediums too, that you're never really satisfied with your work. There'll be a time there in acting, there are times where you get moments of truth in your performance where everything clicks, everything feels real. It's really hard to do, really hard to summon. So sometimes you just have to rely on technique. And one of the things as an actor, or director, I should say, is to surround yourself with really good people. And that frees you up as an actor to be able to perform and work. And I know Bryn has assembled a really great team. So I'm looking forward to giving you one of the most smug, know it all Smythes you can imagine. And I am well aware that BJ Novak played the part of Smythe as well. And I think he's an incredibly talented actor, but I will not be stealing anything from him. That's his own rendition of the character. Smythe will be in a wheelchair for this movie. He is not going to be the six armed Smythe as later seen in the comics and some versions of the animated show. He's not at that point in the story. Uh, as far as the drawing portion of this goes, you've seen my pencil work before, but I am making this entirely, almost entirely, I should say, with a quill pen just because you can get an incredibly thin line, and I absolutely love that. It gives it more of an etched feeling. Smythe in this film is directly Smythe and Fisk, I should say, are directly responsible for the creation of the Vulture and a lot of the villains of this piece. Truly, even though Smythe isn't the main villain, he is the catalyst for a lot of transformation and growth. So I keep joking with Bryn that I'm going to call this film Spider Man 4 The Rise of Smythe. You know, he laughs every time, but I'm going to find a way to break into that editing room and fix it before it goes out. And here's my piece. And I was initially really nervous about doing a self portrait. I gave myself way sadder eyes than I had in the photograph. But overall, I think it came out pretty well. Well, that's me, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Coming up next, I am working on a Batman piece that I am really excited to share with you, and after that, I will be doing a likeness of Bill Reed Jr. as Kurt Connors in our Spider Man 4 film. And if you have any questions you want to ask him, please leave them in the comments below. I will forward them to him and give you his answers. So, until that time, keep telling your stories.